Hello there, good evening everybody, welcome to another video by me, Mr. Drone. This evening, it's Tuesday, the, 6th, I think, of February 2024. I'm just heading now into the Mersey Tunnel Tour, Queensway Mersey Tunnel Tour. Been meaning to do this for a while. Didn't know you could do this till recently, so I'm going to get in now, get down there, because we're nearly time, so we're going to get in, get down there and take this tour and have a look down inside the tunnels, see what it's like. Let's get in there. Okay, so first off, it's a few minutes with the tour guides, Ryan and Phil, who were brilliant guides, by the way. What they will do now is tell us a bit about the tour, along with what we'll be seeing, a few facts about the tunnel as well, so we'll just have a listen to them for a couple of minutes before we move on.
Or do you need us to clarify anything like that? Okay, are we local or we from far? I know we've got two from France, yeah? Okay. 90 years old in July, yeah. Longest underwater tunnel in the world when it was complete at 2.13 miles, which doesn't sound like a lot now when you think of tunnels later, especially if you think of the Channel Tunnel, links England and France. But this record of 2.13 miles, longest underwater road tunnel, stood for 20 years, a little over 20 years. So it was a major feat of engineering, nothing on this scale had ever been attempted before. And we'll talk about the construction a little bit more as we go around. Queensway is its official name, okay, so for consistency we'll try to stick to that, but it has got other names, locals especially, what would you call it?
Birkenhead Tunnel.
Birkenhead
Tunnel, any others? The Old Tunnel, yeah. Queensway was opened by King George V. It was called the Queensway because he named it after Queen Mary, who was his wife, okay? Kingsway opened by Queen Elizabeth II, named Kingsway because she named after King George VI, who was her father. Okay, so that's why the names are like that. George, stop building we're in now. Do you know what this building is?
Ventilation.
Yeah, doing well, yeah. Ventilation station, it's one of 5 in operation for the Queensway. For locals, this used to be a 6th one that ventilated the disused branch exit. The one that comes out by the 4 bridges in Birkenhead, and years ago, shut in the 1960s. Well, if you go through the tunnel, you can see it there, but you wouldn't be able to get out to the side. We'll touch on why that's shut later on. But there's 5 in operation today. The reason we take you around this one, there's a lot more to it. Okay, the building's very ornate in terms of the architecture. Okay, the attention to detail inside, which we'll touch on as well. Essentially, this is just a chimney in the middle of Liverpool with a few offices on it. Now, when you look outside, you wouldn't think that's very grand. The attention to detail that goes into the building, especially of that era, is amazing, really. And we'll show you that as we're going around. What we're going to do before we head down, which you should be expecting, yeah. We're going to head to the top of our building, what we call, on our 5th floor, our old control room, old engineering control room, okay? I say old about quite loosely, because about 9 years ago, engineers were working from that room. When you go in that room, you'll think, really? It's like stepping back in time. There's equipment dating back years and years and years. So we're going to go through that, how things have changed and evolved and moved on, and why them engineers went kicking and screaming out that room. They weren't happy leaving. Okay, you'll see why when we go up there. Once we leave that room, then you'll need your hat. Then we're going to go through the industrial side of the building. So this is a ventilation station. So you're going to go through the exhaust fan chamber, how we get the foul air out the tunnel. Okay. And then we're going to get to the fresh air chambers a bit lower down. It's how we get the fresh air into the tunnel. Okay, the fans are as old as the tunnel, which is 19 July. The majority of the fan ventilation and still in operation today. So you might recognise some of the British engineering names that we'll show you when we're down there. We'll get one of the fans on for you as well. Once we've seen the fans, we're going to head underneath Brunswick Street. If you don't know where Brunswick Street is, you've got the Port Liverpool building just here, Brunswick Street, Cunard buildings, Water Street, then a lot of buildings. The 2 roads that run in between Brunswick Street and Water Street, they're actually bridges underneath the road structure. So the road's been built over it. Okay. What we're going to do today is go underneath the first archway of 15 underneath Brunswick Street.
As we start to head up to the 5th floor, we will We make a stop here at the Secretary's office and learn a little bit about the Secretary. He was a live-in secretary here for a number of years.
Oh God.
We used to have a living caretaker. Okay, so up to about the 1950s, a lot of city centre buildings had living caretakers. That was his apartment behind there. I say that quite loosely. It probably cost about £1,000 a month now, wouldn't it? But yeah, he used to live here about mid-1950s. His name was John Guilfoyle, and he actually died in this building on this floor of a heart attack.
Oh, thanks.
Just where you're standing.
Thanks very much.
See where the chalk outline? He is still with us.
Okay, we head up to the control room next, the main control room. Now this was in use for up until 9 years ago. I believe one of the tour guys told us, and they do. You'll hear him in a minute. One of them says, "Welcome to Chernobyl," because it does look like one of the old control rooms out of an old power station or something like that. This room was used to control the ventilation in both tunnels, the Queensway and the Kingsway, with all of the dials that you see and the equipment. Also used to keep an eye on the tunnel, to watch the flow of traffic. That was all, not to watch speed or anything like that. Just to watch the flow of traffic and make sure it was all moving. Let's have a good look at it.
George's Dock, that's the ventilation station we're in now. There's another one in North John Street, looks the same. Woodside's the big brick building on the side. Sydney Street, another ventilation street a little bit further on. And then we've got two branch exits at the bottom panels. Liverpool one is still active, Birkenhead one is now closed. First of all, I should tell you as well, the river doesn't sit on the riverbed. Lots of people think it sits on the riverbed. It's 120 feet below the riverbed. So when they were building this tunnel, they cut away through sandstone.
Okay, and as we head down towards the tunnel itself now, we take a stop at one of the largest fans inside the tunnel, which brings fresh air in and it uses the fresh air to push the fumes out. We'll just have a look at one of these fans, which is huge. To be honest, let's have a look at it.
That way, it's like the Atlantic Ocean.
Like Atlantic Ocean.
Right, moving on into the next room. This is one of my favourite sections, to be honest. It was the really old bridges under Brunswick Street. How it looked before we built on top of it and everything. So we'll just have a little listen to the tour guide in this bit. It's really interesting.
Can everyone see the picture from where they are?
Yeah.
Where we are now is underneath Brunswick Street. Okay, remember I said we're going to be underneath in a bridge structure. If you look to my right, you can see the archway of the bridge. And this is one of 15 archways going that way. Okay, of a bridge directly underneath Brunswick Street, which is the road that runs between the Port Liverpool building and the Cunard. And just through there you can see the foundations of the Cunard building. So how close by you can see there used to be a door to go in, but there's a bit of a drop when you go through that door, so we decided to brick it up when we do the tours. Okay, so I'll give you some context. George's Dock building where you come in today was built here in the 30s. You followed it underneath and you're in this little archway just here. So this first archway, and that's one of 15 going underneath Brunswick Street of a bridge. But outside you would just think it was a road, okay, but it's actually a bridge structure supporting it. And then the next bridge along is now known as Water Street, okay, the next road along. Okay, give you a bit of wider context. George's Dock building got its name from the large rectangular sandstone dock that it's situated in, funnily enough called George's Dock, dating back to 1771, and that dock went all the way up the Strand, around the Lager buildings, down the pier head, around the Port Liverpool building, and back on itself in a rectangular shape. Sandstone, 1771. One of the early commercial docks in Liverpool. As Liverpool's docks grew and the ships become bigger and bigger, this dock couldn't accommodate them anymore. Okay, by the 1850s it fell into disuse. Okay, also logistically, right in the centre of the city, it wasn't the greatest. So they built docks for north and south, and this fell into disuse. But it was in a busy area of Liverpool. The reason being, at the pier head, if you think about it, this tunnel didn't come until 1934. The railway tunnels, which goes over the water between Liverpool and Wirral, the first ever underwater railway tunnel in the world. Okay, coming 1886. That's what we know as Merseyrail now. Very technical.
Really?
Definite splash.
Well done with the paddling pool. Now that is the River Mersey coming underneath us. And if you don't believe me, you know the River Mersey is salt water. Does anybody want to lick this road?
You're all right.
Scoused it. Got the light here. Deep there. Yeah. So that's George's Dock Wall. That was put in 1771. It's a sandstone dock wall. And when we dug it out, we found that timber. So that's where the boats were tied up in 1771. So it's an awful long way from where the river is now. Yeah. It's a long way that way. And as I say, 1771, and that's where they were tied up in 1771.
Wow.
So just to get your bearings, the big 6-lane road's just behind there.
Okay, yeah.
And the river's quite a way away, isn't it?
Okay. Which way did they go? Okay, and now to head down and out into the tunnel itself, where we stand. You'll see we stand behind the barriers, have a look at the traffic coming past. It was really strange to be stood inside the tunnel whilst traffic was going past us. We did get a beep off somebody, motorbike revving its engine as it went past, but it was just quite strange to be standing there watching all the traffic go past, to be honest with you. Didn't really feel too safe, although there was a big metal barrier between us. We'll just have a little look at it. Onto the levee.
Just be careful, these lanes are only 9 foot wide. We've taken all heavy goods vehicles off this tunnel except buses, but we still get white box vans. And with the wing mirrors, they're 10 foot wide. So don't put your head out, don't put your arms out too much. If you look up, there's the holes in the ceiling. Wherever there's a ventilation station connected, you see those holes. You don't normally see that when you're driving. So if you're driving through next time, don't go, oh, there they are. Don't look up. Underneath us here, right through the tunnel, and right over there, that side, that's where the fresh air's coming up, because that fan's on. Because the fan's on, not too bad, is it?
No.
The buses have to go in the middle 2 lanes because of the curvature on the tunnel. If they're on the outside, that sort of thing can happen. Pull off the track. Been taken off today from the
Okay, next up is down into the fresh air tunnel. There's the fresh air tunnel because that big large fan we were by a little earlier, we're at the bottom of it now, so it's all the fresh air being pushed down into this section, and then it'll be pushed up into the tunnel to push the fumes out. In this tunnel, it was, you might be able to hear, it felt really windy and cold as well, because it was cold air. So yeah, that's how it felt in this tunnel. Some good facts though, so again we'll have a little listen.
Once it's in here, these are the holes we talked about. You're under the first lane where you just looked out now, outside before. So they go up these holes, but you can see a lot of them are covered up. And the reason for that is, we don't want to let all the fresh air out in one section of the tunnel. We've got to evenly distribute it right to the middle of the river. So as we go down, we'll see some of these opening up until eventually near the river they're all opening up. But the idea is to not let it out in one go. So we're going to walk down here now, so as soon as we go over that little lump, we're going underwater. You'll feel the road going, this passageway going down there. You want to follow me?
Okay, and now we're walking into the very centre, underneath the road. So the road that the cars drive on and where we were before looking at them, we're now directly underneath that, and they were going to put a tram system in this part, in this tunnel, but the Mersey Ferry and Merseyrail actually objected to that because they said they'll lose money if there's trams under the tunnel, and they'll lose money, so they had to abort that. So they use it now for well, you hear him say he use it for a lot of cabling, but he also used it for the refuge tunnels as well that we're going to get to soon.
Find the tram noises. Right, we're under the middle two lanes now, so this is where the trams are going to run. As you can see, without all the other equipment in this area now, there's plenty of room for 2 trams to run down here. Shame it never happened, but it didn't. So it's used for other things now. So that white box we've got running through here, that white box runs between Liverpool and Birkenhead, and that's holding 6,600 volt cables. And they're encased in sand and oil, I believe, to cool them down. They're that powerful. We used to have a 30-inch gas main, 450mm gas main, used to run right through this tunnel between Liverpool and Birkenhead. But when we put these safety refuges in, we thought we'd better take the gas main out. So that's gone under Queensway now. Not that we don't like Queensway, it's just a different way we escape from Queensway. Then you look up here, all these cables, when we talked about Mont Blanc, the cables are at road deck level in the old Burns house. These cables are below road deck level, and you can feel it, we're in an air bubble. So these are in a perfect place, they're not going to burn out. We also allow the likes of BT and Virgin to run their cables down here, much easier than running it in the river. I'd like to think we got some free broadband, but I don't think we do. Then you look up here, this is the underside, the original underside of the middle 2 lanes. The surface where the cars run on it, I've been serviced a number of times. This is the underside, it's a reinforced concrete slab. And you can see lots of markings on it, all sorts of markings. Then you have a look on the walls, 0.5 of a crack, 0.3 of a crack, 0.9 of a crack. That was 0.7 yesterday. No, it wasn't, I'm only joking. These are our structural engineers' markings. The structural engineers are now in this tunnel because this tunnel was given a life of 100 years. And what do we say? 90 years. And that's discounting when it was getting built, of course. This is only when it's been used. So we're very close to extended life. This area of bubbles here, we've been taking it out and having a look at that.
He's in a car. Okay, so as we go into one of these refuge areas, again they tell us a few facts and stories about this, as they have done all the way along. The guys were brilliant. I will say that these refuges were built because of a fire in a tunnel in Mont Blanc, I think it was, I'm pretty certain. There was a tragic fire in one of the tunnels there which killed people, but it was the fumes that actually killed a lot of people. So the EU they investigated every single tunnel in Europe to make sure that it wouldn't happen again. And what they said about the Queensway, although the ventilation was good, there was nowhere for people to go if they were stuck in the tunnel if there was a fire. So they used the space under the tunnel that was meant to be for trams to build, I think it was 7 or 8 refuge areas, which will be, they're fireproof and safe. They've got a communications centre in. So yeah, that's what they use the space for. It's really good. So we'll just have a little listen to what they've got to say.
A lot of people have gone out and a lot of people have stopped getting in, and then just be a certain section evacuated. Apart from that, what else is there? There's a toilet. That's it. Yeah, there's not really much to do in here. So I think the idea is to keep it in here for a specific amount of time, and then if we can deal with the events, get you back up to your car, because that's the big thing, is get you back up to your vehicle. But if it was a real emergency and you was going to be a serious one, they'd get you in and get you out the most appropriate way. This is a good place just to take names and check if anyone needs any support and help and things like that. But it's a holding area really, like Phil said before. You can stand outside there, the fresh air's there, but it'll be a bit colder. You'd be perfectly safe standing outside here. That's why you see them fire doors, because the smoke or fire can't get down here. There's a way we ventilate the tunnel.
You wouldn't come in that door?
Yeah.
That would be your escape door.
Yeah.
From that behind that door is the ramps that come down with the green box structure. Come down the ramps, so they're fully accessible, and then you're in here, or one in the refuge.
Yeah, and if you're on the road, obviously you wouldn't be coming in this way, you'd come through those big boxes. You'd probably be driving or be a passenger, and we've got a number of ways to alert. One thing we do, what's in your car?
Radio.
Radio, yes. In some of the cars, we can break into the radio system. If you're on FM, if you've got the AB, the technology hasn't moved on yet. But we can break into the FM and break into some vehicle. We've got a loudspeaker system as well. All the green boxes, all the arrows would light up, pointing in the right direction and flashing. And failing that is another big way, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, we see loads of your gold cars stopping in front of you and people jumping over your body.
Running.
Just
In all seriousness, we'd have tunnels police on site as well, you'd be down there supporting you. Also guys, your own film set, there's been a number of films filmed in the tunnel. The gentleman mentioned one earlier, Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 1, the scene with Hagrid on a motorbike flying through the tunnel. In the film it was depicted as the Dartford Tunnel in London, but they use this one because it's very wide, this tunnel of 4 lanes, a lot easier to film. Might have been cheaper as well, being Liverpool prices, not London. We did get 25 grand in the 90s for that. You asked about that before, whether we used it to maintain the tunnel and things like that. It actually got donated to our charity of the year, which was Clare House Cancer Hospice on the Whittle side. 51st State is a film that's been filmed in here. Jack Reacher. Yesterday the Beatles film was filmed in this tunnel.
Jack Ryan it was.
Jack Ryan, sorry, yeah, Jack. I knew it was a Jack.
Yeah.
Every time there's a kidnapping in Hollyoaks, they come in here.
Yeah.
Which is a soap, a local soap. What other film? We did get film for Batman, but we didn't make the final edit.
Really?
Yeah, so we're opening a DVD, special DVD or whatever it is, stream come out with the, when you get the extras, we might be here.
That's because one of you were in the background.
Yeah, we don't have a damn book on there. Yeah.
Is that the one where they filmed on Water Street as well?
Yeah, because they filmed on the library
building.
The library building.
They shot the news agents
Did
where
they?
they used to go, you know, on the corner of by James Street.
Yeah, he filmed all around. I think there was that picture everyone was laughing at, weren't they, where there was you could see the yellow bus stop in Gotham. He had the whole of Gotham film, and he left the bus stop coloured in yellow, so they had to edit it to change it. Batman wasn't getting the 20 to Kirby.
Fast and Furious 6 was filmed in this tunnel as well.
Yeah. So a number of films, all
Yeah, that's it.
We bring actors in, there was a type of accidents.
Yeah.
Right, there you go.
Long every time. I feel like I've done all the stairs there.
No, I'm not surprised.
Right, and there you go. That was the end of our tour. You've seen we've come out here and it's dark, so it takes, you know what, just about 2 hours, a bit under 2 hours. Fantastic tour though. So you'd have seen mainly there. I'd have videoed the tour guides because, to be fair, they were excellent. They were really, really good. It's only £10 per person for that tour as well, you know, by the way, and it's really good to get down inside behind the tunnel, as you've seen the footage from inside. I did share some of my footage that I'd already captured, the drone footage from both sides, the river, a drive through as well, but yeah, it really enjoyable tour, very, very insightful, very educational. I'd highly recommend it if you've got a couple of hours to spare. You're in Liverpool, you fancy a tour, get down there and behind the tunnels, really good. And if you get the same tour guides as us, you'll be lucky, because they were great. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like, share and subscribe. Many more tours coming up. If you like these sorts of things, I've recently done the Liver Buildings tour, Western Approaches World War II Museum. That's a really, really good video, that one, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, loads more coming up, loads more tours planned. Love these videos. Please like, share, subscribe. Take care. Bye now.